What's up, everyone?
Hi, everyone.
We're your favorite couple, the Hubbards, and we're back again with episode 2 of Straight Talk with the Hubbards. We certainly want to thank you guys for following us on Facebook. Continue to do so. We want to thank you for sharing our posts, sharing our videos, and we want to make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't want to beg, but like the Temptation said, I ain't too proud to beg. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Save the date.
June 19th, our webinar entitled,
What Are We Fighting For?
All right, we'll be sharing registration information next Thursday. So start saving the date now because we'd love for you all to join us.
June the 19th. Again, June 19th from 10 a.m. to 12. All right, that's a Saturday. Go ahead and clear your calendar. We're not going to keep you long, but I really believe you will be blessed if you tune in with us and sign up to be with us on our webinar. So let's get into our second episode. And what's the title of our second episode?
Let's talk about it. So this episode is all about communication. And typically when you say communication, people think that means
all the time. Just talk. But see, the thing about talking is you can do a lot of talking and don't communicate at all. At all.
So if it's not all about talking, then what is communication?
Well, I know, growing up, we didn't see healthy communication because a lot of our viewers grew up in the era that we grew up in. And that era was children are meant to be seen and not heard. And then husbands and wives, they just didn't talk about stuff. They rarely talked. They spoke. And that was about it. But they never really talked. So we live now where it's like, what is communication? What is it all about? Because it's evident that we should talk.
Or communicate.
Right? Because, I mean, if you think about nature for a moment. You think about the whales. If they can squeak and make these noises and they can communicate to each other, then certainly as God's children, we should be able to talk to one another to make our relationships healthier and meaningful. So, what is it though? What is communication?
Well, we know verbal communication, but a lot of communication is also nonverbal.
Go on, put that there. Go ahead. Go on, talk about this nonverbal communication.
Okay.
Because I want to see this. Go ahead.
So he says that I don't have to say anything because my face always says exactly what's going on. And so he asked me 10 million times what's wrong, and I'll say nothing. But he's like, your face is saying it all.
Yeah.
So facial expressions are part of nonverbal communication.
Yep. And sometimes that includes rolling your eyes, smacking your lips, blowing your nostrils, raising your eyebrows. Whatever it is, where you don't, that's it, folding your arms, turning your head to the side, just not wanting to say anything, but saying through your actions, this is the way I feel. And some people communicate that way. Some people actually communicate that way. Me, on the other hand, I like to talk.
He does.
I like to talk. Somebody put on one of the comments from the last one, I didn't know you talked that much. Then you really don't know me then. You don't know me. I know I like to talk.
Yes, he does.
RJ is a prime example of me liking to talk because he used to get in trouble all the time at school for talking. And one day I just asked him, why? He said, Dad, I just like to talk. And so that's me. But when you talk about communication, it's verbal and nonverbal, where one partner may not talk a lot, nonverbal. One partner may talk a lot, verbal. But you got to know how to make that thing work. You got to know how to take what your partner has, what you have, and you got to put those things together to make that work. Because the one thing we don't want to do is try to change each other. We don't want to try to change each other. And communication is about getting to see what the other person is actually talking about. So don't be rolling your eyes though.
You can't help it sometimes. It's just a natural reaction.
Don't roll your eyes. Please don't roll your eyes.
It's not the
No, it's not, but I'm just saying, let's just not roll the eyes though. Okay.
I can't help it.
Yeah, you can. But go ahead. Go ahead though.
But the key thing about communication is being an effective communicator.
Right.
Being able to get your point across. And sometimes we do a lot of talking, but it's not effective because we haven't truly expressed what it is that we're trying to get across. And one part of that is understanding who you're talking to, understanding your audience.
Right, and that's a big thing, because not everybody receives the way you say something the same way. And if you're going to be a good communicator, the thing you got to understand is, who am I talking to? Mm-hmm. Can I talk to you that way and you understand what I'm saying? Will you take it as me being facetious? Will you take it as me being a smart aleck? Or will you take it as sincerity? Or whatever the case may be. So knowing who you're talking to is a big part of effective communication, because we got kids.
And we cannot communicate with the three of them the same way.
We cannot.
Because
not at all.
Abigail is on the edge of tears.
And when you say stop, tears just well up in the little eyes.
See, but RJ,
yeah,
you can just be blunt and put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot. So it's all about knowing who you're talking to and how to best reach them.
Don't forget about Brenda. Don't forget about the baby.
I don't know how to communicate.
It's like a grown man talking to him.
Yeah, and then some days he's 3. So
yeah.
it depends on the day.
It just depends. That's why it's good to know who you're talking to, even when you're at work, mm-hmm. because not all people that you work with receive communications the same. Some people, their sense of humor may not be the same as yours. They may take things more personal than other people. And so you got to know who you're dealing with. And that's why it's important to talk to people, to kind of get a feel of who they are, what they can take, what they can't take. And I know me personally, I throw a lot of jabs. I throw them. I throw them left and right. But it depends on who I'm throwing them at. Because I realize that you can't joke with some people the way you can with others. But that's a part of getting to know a person. That's like with Tori. I be tearing up. But she can take it. Or at least,
because I can dish it too.
Hers don't really be, they be minor, But we're going to talk about one later on. So y'all.
We're going to see if it's minor.
Just stay tuned. But the whole thing about communication is being able to talk to somebody and being effective in what you're saying, because again, not everybody will receive everything that you say, because it's some stuff that I'll say to Toy, and I know I can't say to other people. I know I can't.
And there have been times I've had to tell him, please don't say that to anybody else.
Right, because I'm just thinking everybody can handle it, but the truth is everybody can't handle it. So if you're going to be effective, know who you're talking about.
Because the end result is always to bring us closer. No matter what relationship that is, effective communication will only bring you closer to strengthen and tighten and build on that relationship. So then the question becomes, how do we become effective communicators?
Right. How do we become that?
And please know that we have not always done this well. We have done it terribly. But trial and error has brought us to a point where we have learned to communicate more effectively with each other.
Yep. It took us some years, and we still working with this whole communication thing. And the more you do it, though, the better you'll get at it. You'll never be a perfectionist, but keep doing it, and you'll get better at it. And so, like we said, how do I become that effective communicator? Before we jump into that, though, I just want to say to our men, honestly, ain't nothing wrong with talking. Nothing wrong with talking. Talk. If you're married, please talk to your spouse. That's your best friend. Communicate to them. If you have children, talk to your children. Let them know that you are not a robot, that you have emotions, that it's okay to share, that it's okay to talk. It's been too long that we have been bottled up with emotions and we don't know how to express them. So learn how to talk. And with talking, though, because like I said, I like to do it a lot, but you got to have timing. If you're going to be a good communicator, if you're going to be effective, you must have good timing. And Tor would tell you that my timing,
he's still working on this,
is horrible.
It is
absolutely horrible, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I can't always tell that he's working on it, because there's never been a conversation that Raphael Hubbard didn't want to have, and he will beat a dead horse. I mean,
to death again.
Yes, he will. He'll kill it multiple times. He's like a mass murderer of that horse. And so again, I got certain shows out of, but that's
she crazy.
And I'm not listening to anything he has to say. And when I'm finished, I don't want anything he has to say, because I'm mad that you interrupted me during my show. So now I really don't want to talk about it. But she won't tell me
she mad. She'll use her non-verbal clues.
I do.
Like rolling her eyes and turning her head and folding her arms. But she won't throw the blame on me in timing. But I understand where she's coming from. It's about timing. Because a lot of stuff that I've talked to her about is really not that important. It can wait. But if I felt like it was just very... See, that's what I'm talking about. See, if I felt like if it was just very, very important, then stop your show and listen to me and let's discuss what needs to be talked about. But you got to have time, and you got to know when to talk about these things, when to bring these conversations up. You got to learn how to read the room, in other words.
And sometimes it's not all about what the other person may be doing in that moment, but it could also be about how they're feeling in that moment. Mm-hmm. And if they're not in a place emotionally right then to receive what it is you have to say, that's a conversation best saved for another time, because it's not going to be effectively received.
Yeah, and sometimes people just don't want to talk. And that's just it. Some days, people just don't want to talk. And trying to force feed a conversation into someone is not going to get you good results at all. So know when to bring it up. Go ahead, Amy.
And I think that's important for us as parents too, because we feel like because we're the adult and we're ready for the conversation, that our children should be ready to have that conversation right now, because I said we're having the conversation right now. But sometimes I think we don't give them opportunity to reflect. And when I get real angry, I'm guilty. I want you to talk to me right now, and I want you to tell me what's going on right now, and why you did this and why that.
And
well, they haven't even had.
Because I pay the bills around here.
Exactly.
So you better talk. You don't put no food on this table, so you're going to talk to me. But that's not fair to the child when we do that.
It's really not.
It's not.
And you put them in a position where it becomes difficult for them to have a conversation with you, and you want to make sure you leave that line of communication open, because there's going to come a time where you're going to have difficult conversations with them. Mm-hmm. I mean, because right now we got younger children, and they're going to grow, and their bodies are going to change.
No, they're not.
Hormones.
We ain't talking about that.
And we're going to have those conversations.
No, we're not. No,
and that's going to be uncomfortable for us as parents, no matter what, because our babies are growing up. But
not ready.
If we created,
Stop.
If we've already created those relationships that are open and honest in communication, it makes those conversations so much less awkward for the child.
Yeah. And
that's our responsibility as a parent, to make it where they can have those difficult conversations that have to happen.
Yeah, they gotta happen. They gotta happen, and that's the thing. We must talk. We gotta talk to our kids. We gotta talk to our spouses. Communication is a must in every relationship in order for it to be effective. And with that, about timing, another thing that we got to time there, if we're going to be effective when we talk about communication, we got to have trust. We got to know that what I'm telling you as your husband stays between us.
I can't tell my girlfriends.
No, you can't tell them nothing. No, because I don't know who your girlfriend's going to tell. And then when your girlfriends tell somebody else, and somebody across town done told me what I done told you, now I can't talk to you anymore, because I'm going to shut down, because the one person I thought I could trust with the information that I'm giving you, you went and told everybody else. I was already uncomfortable talking about it to begin with. For me to open up and tell you, I'm trusting that you're going to keep it with you. Mm-hmm. And so that's one thing we definitely got to trust the partner that we're talking to, so they'll know that what I'm saying, I want them to be kept. Look, when somebody is talking to you personally, don't say, hey, can I tell such and such? Because I promise you, if they wanted such and such to know, they would have told you, hold on, let me go get such and such, and I'm going to tell both of y'all at the same time. It has to be a trust thing, and I believe that's why most men don't like to talk, because they're afraid that they're going to be exposed.
Wait a minute. So are you implying that women, you made it sound like women just run and tell and gossip?
No.
So maybe some women are uncomfortable with their spouse because my husband has loose lips. You talk all the time, so how do I know you're not spreading? It was just sexist. I'm just pointing out.
Oh, okay. You call me sexy? Oh, okay. I take that.
They heard it too.
But no, it goes both ways. When your wife tells you something, men, keep that with you. No, because first of all, you shouldn't have another person closer to you than your spouse. No one. Your spouse should be your best friend. So when they tell you something, they've already told their best friend, and you heard it from your best friend. So there is no other best friend for you to go tell it to. So learn how to keep and safeguard the information that's been given, even with your children. When they come to you and talk to you, let it be known that, hey, what you're telling me is going to stay with me. Don't get to the family reunion and say, hey, get what Peanut done told me about. They're not going to trust. So learn how to make the conversations trustworthy, in other words, if you're going to be effective as a communicator. But I heard her call me sexy, though.
That's not what I said.
Mr. Sexy Man. What's your name? Okay,
and here, that was perfect timing, because to be an effective communicator, you must listen. You have to listen. You got to do much more listening than talking.
True.
Clearly, he's not listening.
Nah, I wasn't listening. I just heard her call me sexy. But listening is important as a communicator. Most people think, again, communication is about talking, but being able to listen is good. You know, James said in James 1:19, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak. Swift to hear and slow to speak. So that says a lot, especially coming from God, that if I'm going to be effective with my partner, with my spouse, with my children, I got to do some listening sometimes, which means I don't always have the answers, which means I got to stop trying to solve every problem that comes out of somebody's mouth, because I do that before Tori can't even finish the sentence. I already gave her a solution, a plan A in case, a plan B in case A don't work, but all she wanted me to do was to listen. Yeah. So. And
sometimes he doesn't even let me finish my sentence. He thinks he knows what my problem is, and he already figured out how to solve. I don't need that. I just need you to listen.
Right.
And if we go into a conversation with guns cocked, ready to fire, we're not going to listen to anything the other person has said, because all our mind is on, I'm so ready because I know what I want to say, and I'm going to get it. You know? Yep. And so if we go in that way, we're not listening to anything the other person has to say. We're not processing. We're not even going to respond to what they had to say, because we weren't listening. We already have made up in our minds what we have to say. One of the funny things about that is, he says things to me, and then I'll always say, but what I heard you say is...
Right. Oh, I can't stand it. I cannot stand it. I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot all about that.
He gets so angry.
Let's fight. But I start fighting right here.
He needs to know that what he said and how I perceived it.
No, that ain't how it goes.
But I'm just letting you know what I heard.
Well, you need to change that. Okay, change that. But listening is good, and like she was saying about going in with your guns cocked and ready to just explode, because when we argue, when we fuss, we already have in our mind the third comeback to what we gonna say, which means that I ain't heard nothing you said. All I know is I'm about to come back and I'm gonna get you with this one. Yeah. And that's bad communication. That's bad. You cannot be effective in communication if you already have your rebuttal ready before they finish talking. That's why he said be swift to hear, ready to listen more than we do talking. Because as complex beings as we are, sometimes we can't do two things at one time.
Like your grandma used to say, Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Exactly. Yep, 2 ears and 1 mouth. But we turn that thing around. Some of us got 1 ear and 2 mouths, and they just as smart as they want to be.
Yeah.
So we got to be effective listeners. We got to learn how to listen, which means when our spouses are talking, or when our children are talking, when our boss, whoever, put this thing down. Put it down. Put it down. I just put it down. What you want me to do? I'm listening to you now.
No, I want you to put it down when I talk to you.
I do. Don't get in. She makes it like I don't never listen. I do, but I do have my phone.
No, because you always say you want me to talk to you more.
I do.
And then when I do start talking, he's doing
it happens. And as good as our devices can be, they can be a hindrance to us. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. They can be a hindrance to us because we can pay more attention to them than our spouses, our children, or whoever it might be. But when I'm talking to you, put it down and let me know that you have my undivided attention, that when I'm talking to you, because I don't want to finish what I'm saying and then you say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Right? I mean, that I just told you the world's greatest whatever and you ain't heard it. Now you want me to repeat it, but I can't do it the same way I just did it because I just gave my best performance. And then you say, my bad, I didn't hear that. What you say? So.
No, but our devices can also be an effective communication tool.
They can.
Because I don't like talking on the phone, but
No.
I'll take a text message.
Yeah, and won't respond. It'd be like 2 days later, she'll respond. Be like, did you get that text the other day? What text? That we needed some soap. Now we walk around musty because she forgot to buy the soap.
I'm just not connected to my device like that. So it may be a while before I respond, but I don't
She has gotten better though. She has gotten better.
Because he'll send me a text. And I may actually read it, but I don't respond because I didn't feel like it needed a response.
Mm-hmm.
But now I know that he needs a response
I
to
do.
every text
To let
message.
you know that you got it. I don't care if you send a little thumbs up emoji. Just let me know you got it. So
Needy.
yeah, I am needy. You already knew that. I've been needy for
But
17
I know
years.
that that's a part of your way of communication.
It is.
And I know my audience. So now I know that I need to respond to every single text message.
You make it seem like I'm just, you know what? I ain't liking this relationship.
He will text me sometimes and he just say, Todd. What am I supposed to respond to that?
Ralph.
You don't have nothing else to do.
I really don't.
But if you're going to use your device as a communication tool, some text messages, especially if you're not agreeing, can come across a certain way.
Yeah.
So some things are not best communicated through text message because even though you may not have tone, it may come across as tone in a written text message. So be careful about using your device as your communication tool.
Because it's something to get a text message and be like, what? She yelling at me. I know she ain't yelling at me. I'm going to yell back at her. Like you know, like you press the button and it just yelled out the message.
And it was a whole situation that was never happening.
Right, so just got to be careful. Just got to be careful. Another thing in being effective is honesty. And that one right there is tough to do.
Yes.
Because we don't want to be honest sometimes because the fear of hurting our spouses or children feelings. And so we just don't give it all that it should get because we don't want to hurt them while we're talking. But we got to learn to be honest.
And I think that comes with creating a safe space.
Yeah.
You know, and when you go into the conversation, you know, establishing that this is going to be a difficult conversation. There are going to be some things said, but this is a safe space. It doesn't go beyond this space. And we're going to air it all out, hash it all out until we resolve it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we struggle a little bit here.
We do. We do. And it's not like it's and I'm not trying to make it ain't like it's a full blown lie, if you will. You know, it's like, was the food good? It was alright. It really wasn't, but it was alright at the moment. You know, that kind of thing. Not saying your food nasty. You cook good.
He just told me you lie about it, though, right? Okay.
But
well.
But the thing, well, what?
You cook well.
Oh, thank you. But you got to learn to be honest. Case in point. So she's always talking to me about You tell me I look good in anything.
He does.
No, I don't. But when I tell her she looks good, she looks good. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, she put some pants on. And I just walked in the room and I saw the pants. I just bust out laughing. I was like, I know you ain't wearing them nowhere. And she was like, I'm wearing these to work. I'm like, where you going? To the circus? you gonna be on the MC Hammer video? Cause that's what they look like. You remember MC Hammer did the typewriter and he had them big balloon pants?
They were not that big.
Look. And then she gonna say, ain't nothing wrong with these pants. Yes, they are. I'm telling you the honest truth now. So accept it that they were wrong. So I got them. I threw them away because she would have kept them. Like ain't nothing wrong. So I told her, look, you got to make up your mind.
I don't like shopping.
You got to make up your mind. Either you're gonna accept my honesty when I'm telling you the truth, or you're not. You say I never tell you when you don't. I told her, look, them pants are wrong. Throw them away. Nah, ain't nothing wrong with them. So
they were cute. They just a little baggy.
No, they wasn't no look bag or nothing. You could have put like $200 worth of groceries from Walmart in them pants. You talking about baggy? They were way too big. So, and it's about honesty though, and
not necessarily brutal honesty.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go on, mess up this great video with this. Go ahead.
So, we were having a conversation.
Yeah.
And he said something, and how much I wish I could remember what he said, but he acted so ridiculous after what he said that, that part gone. So I said, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. He says I called him stupid. That's not what I heard. I said what he said was stupid. Howsoever,
I heard her call me stupid. So
now you like I heard you say.
Yeah, you called me stupid.
Did not.
You did.
But now I know that's a trigger word.
It is. It is.
Which I don't even know why, because I tell him all the time how smart I think he is. But now all of a sudden he's stupid. And I can't believe you called me stupid. I'm not stupid. I didn't say you were stupid. He did.
Like that, and I didn't sound like that either.
Drama. Oops.
See, there you go again. See what I'm talking about?
That's another trigger. Drama king. But that's why Abigail
Just
gets
because
it from.
I like to express myself. That's fine. No, that's cool.
It's always a production.
It is.
You've seen him. You know I'm not making it up.
Yeah. But it's about being honest, though. It's about being honest.
Tactfully honest.
Right.
I could have said, I disagree with that.
Right.
That would have been better than,
you are stupid.
I did not. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. And the ridiculous part is all he focused on stupid. He don't even remember what he said.
So don't. I don't even remember what the conversation was about.
Nope.
All he remember her calling me stupid.
No, I didn't.
So, but it's about being honest, though. You got to be honest. And even though that honesty may sting and it may hurt, do it in a way that you get your point across. You see what I'm saying? Do it in a way that I need to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you in a way that spares your feelings if possible. Because sometimes they might not be able to be spared, but you're not doing it to be malicious or to cause strife. It just needs to be said. And that's something that we got to learn how to do. We got to learn how to be honest and open in communications. We just have to. And I'm talking about from everything, from how we raise our children. We need to talk about that. Whether you feel like I whoop them too much or you don't whoop them enough or
Not
whatever.
enough.
Whatever. I get them when I get them. I get them. But
I'm always the bad guy.
The point is, you need to talk about all of that. Be open in your communication. And one of the things, I'm going to throw this out there. She wasn't ready for this and she didn't even know this one was coming. Spouses, you need to communicate on everything. Everything.
Oh my gosh, I know where he's going. Don't do it, Hubbard.
Everything. From the rooter to the tutor.
Let's move
Everything.
on.
No, Because how would we know? Because you got some husbands think they putting it down in the bedroom. Think they putting it down. But their spouses are afraid to tell them that they're not because they don't want to hurt their feelings. Learn to listen, man. Learn to listen. I'm serious. It's when it comes to handling finances, learn how to communicate. When it comes around whatever it is, learn how to communicate and be honest and open with each other. Again, this is your partner for life. Mm-hmm. This is the one you're gonna be with. So if I'm gonna be honest with anybody, it's gonna be this one because I know this one has my back, and vice versa.
And two, when we develop these communication skills, we're setting examples for our children.
Right.
And though we may not have had the best example of communication, we can break that cycle.
Mm-hmm. It needs to be broken.
And we can teach our children how to be effective communicators in every single aspect of their lives, because they're going to witness you do it.
Yep. And because the way it's, when we were growing up and coming up, communication only happened when something important needed to be talked about.
And the children always had to leave the
They had to
room.
leave the room so they can, and we thrive on showing our children how to talk to each other. They've heard us argue. They've heard us, but now we haven't always done it the right way.
But we've never called each other out on that.
No.
Except him thinking I called them stupid.
I don't think they were around then.
They weren't, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
what I'm
saying.
But they see us talk. They hear us talk. And that's something that they need to see, healthy communication, so they'll grow up knowing that it's okay to talk and not shy away and hold all of that in. Go ahead and get it out and talk about it. Dealing with talking, the thing you got to learn how to do is stay on topic.
Make the conversation about what the conversation is
Yep.
about.
Don't go reliving old stuff because you finally came up with something that could have got them way back when. You know, in 2 years.
I might lose this argument, but what about that?
Right, in 2 years later, and you finally came up with a good response to what they said way back when. It's over with. That one is gone. It's done. Take that L and roll on. But see, the thing is, it's not really taking the loss. And that's what we got to understand. We got to stay on topic with whatever we're talking about.
This one's not great at that.
I'm not.
He's not.
I've gotten
And it's
better,
not
though.
that he brings up old stuff. It's just I don't even know who I'm talking to. Am I talking to my husband or am I talking to my preacher? Because I thought I was talking to my husband, but now he done preached me a sermon. So I'm like, why you gotta put God in everything? I'm just trying to have.
After we get done talking, you might well pass the collection plate. We about to raise the offering.
And I'll be like, you using God to win the situation. And I'm like, I'm not talking to the preacher. I'm talking to my husband. He's gotten a little bit better.
A whole lot better.
Because all he do is throw scripture at me.
A whole
and
lot
I ain't
better.
even saying the scripture wrong. But I don't think that is on topic. I want us to stay with our specific situation. We have Bible study after. So it's like I don't even know who I'm talking to.
Yeah, you got to stay with what's being talked about, and because what that does, that shows that, hey, I'm invested in getting this situation right here. And again, we got to stop looking at it as I lost this argument. We're on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the same team. So how can we be on the same team and I lose and you win? And so we got to stop looking at that. But when we feel like we're, quote, losing, that's when we'll change the subject to something else that we feel like we can win. And now that's another argument that done popped up because I felt like I got you in this one and probably don't. But the point is, now we're arguing about two things when one should have been resolved before we even, the other one should have never come up if we just learn to stay on topic.
And even with our children, because when they do something, we bring up things they did last week and the week before, and we do it, you know, it's like, and then I had to get on you about this and that. Keep it on topic about what they did in this moment and stop bringing up their past, because we don't like it when people do it to us.
Right.
And so it's not okay for us to do it to our children. We need to stay in that moment. Even if it's something they've done repeatedly.
Right.
You have to stay in that moment, on that conversation, dealing with that issue right then.
Yep. And then the reason for all of this, if we're going to make it work, the things that we talked about, again, we're not experts. We're just taking what we've learned over these past 17 years and we're trying to dish it out. But something we have learned that makes the conversation easier is talk daily. Just talk daily about it. What you did at work, what you had to eat at work, who said something fun at work, who just talk.
And that's even with the kids. And Lord, they love family dinner. Ooh. But they talk so much.
They talk a whole lot. I feel sorry for whoever gonna marry them. I really do. I'm just apologizing to you now. Them jokers like to talk a whole lot.
But that line of communication is open. And so they know that they can always come to us and talk to us because we talk daily.
Yep.
And This was a couple years back, and Trey and Lee, they have a like they do marriage seminars and everything too, and so they put out a challenge, and one part of the challenge was that turn off everything and just talk for 30 minutes every day. We had nothing to talk about. We were literally setting a timer. And what we realized is we thought we were talking and communicating every day, but we really weren't. So, I mean, that challenge helped us to realize that we needed to do better. Yeah. And so now we make it a point of talking to each other every single day, no matter how mundane the conversation.
And anything, whatever it is you like to talk about, just talk. Because the more you talk, when those big conversations start to come up, it's still going to be a little difficult, but it won't be as difficult because now I got somebody I can talk to, and we talk a lot. So I know how she responds, how I respond, and we can get those things out. But you got to start somewhere. Mm-hmm. And wives, when your husband comes in and want to talk to you, don't look at him and say, what you done did now? Why you talking? That's because I talk already. I'm talking about the ones that don't talk. I'm talking about the ones that don't talk. When they start opening up to you, allow them to open up. Don't shoot them down. Don't say what's wrong with you, what you done did. Don't shoot them down. Just embrace it and let them talk. They're trying to do something different, trying to break that cycle of where the man is the best when he's silent. No, he's not. He's at his very best when he's open and when he's honest and when he can communicate. So allow him to communicate. Just let him do it. Let him talk. Let him talk his little self to sleep.
All right, well, that's what we have for you guys. So let's talk about it. Effective communication, good timing, creating a trustworthy, being a trustworthy person, doing more listening than speaking, creating a safe, honest environment, making sure we stay on topic, and most importantly, talk daily. And
this is for whether you're married or not, father, mother, children, well, whoever you are. Talk, talk, talk. All right, guys, look, we appreciate you joining us for the ride on tonight or tomorrow whenever you see the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Straight Talk with the Hubbards. Like us on Facebook as well. Anything you want to?
Make sure to leave us your feedback. Tell us what you think. Ask your questions. Leave your comments. We'd love to get the feedback, guys.
Yep. Once again, we're your favorite couple, the Hubbards. And we thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.